me, Carol. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, or welcome if you're new here. Today I have a super exciting video for you guys because I haven't seen anyone on BookTube do this video this sort of way, so I'm super excited and I'm really glad to be bringing something original to my BookTube channel. So this is the beginning of a new series on my BookTube channel called Reading Like ... So basically I'll be reading like some characters from TV shows or movies. Also, if you guys want me to do any specific characters, feel free to comment them down below. I'll definitely do them. But first, let me tell you guys how I came up with this idea. Me being a bookworm, whenever I'm watching TV shows or movies, I'm always paying attention to see if any books pop up. And when they do, I always wonder, are they only using the book as a prop? Or did they actually put time and thought into the book that character would be holding, and if it makes sense into the series? And that idea stuck with me. And I was like, wait, do they actually make the actors hold books that their characters would like to read? Or is it just random and just thrown out there just for them to hold something in the scene? And that really got me thinking, and I really wanted to do this experiment to check out if the book has any meaning to the series, to the characters, and if the characters would actually enjoy the book the directors picked for them, if that makes any sense. So I was like, where should I start? And I chose Pretty Little Liars because that's one of my all-time favorite TV shows. And the character that I chose is Spencer Hastings. She's my favorite character of all time from that series. I love her so much, and today I even decided to dress up as her. I don't know if you can tell, I did my makeup sort of like her. Up with a picture that was my inspo here, and I feel like Spencer Hastings. So if you haven't watched Pretty Little Liars, it follows these girls who are very close and they're really good friends, but one of them went missing. After Allison, the girl who disappeared, the girls started to drift apart and not talk to each other anymore. But they are brought back together after all of them receive a message from someone called A. And in all of these messages, it said something really personal that only Allison knew. Problem is, Allison's body was just found. Who's messaging them? Is Allison alive? Is someone pretending to be Allison? That's what the show is about. And let me talk a little bit more about Spencer because you guys might have not seen the show and I want you to get the full idea. So, she's competitive, driven, and smart. She's an overachiever in every sense of the word and in every aspect of her life. When she's competing with her family and friends, she's competing in academics, field hockey, and over boys. She's a very dedicated person. She doesn't accept anything less than perfect. So I think that's all you guys need to know about it. We'll talk about some minor spoilers for this series, nothing like who A is or anything like that. I will have to spoil some little things, so if you don't want to watch, I totally get that. But if you have watched the series or if you have no interest in watching it, stay tuned. So this is how I'm gonna do it. I'll explain the story of the book, I'll tell you if I liked it, and I'll tell you if I actually think it meant something to the series or not. And I'll talk about if I actually think Spencer would enjoy this book.
Hello, Arya. Hello, Ezra.
So let's start with the first book that we're introduced and we see Spencer actually reading, and that is To Kill a Mockingbird. I don't remember what episode it is, but I'll put the scene right here on the screen so you guys can have an idea of where this book is actually featured. So a little backstory on this scene. Spencer is talking to this man who is actually her sister's fiance called Ren. Ren is way older than her. He's in college and she's in high school. And there's something going on, a little bit flirting, even though he's engaged to her sister. So To Kill a Mockingbird is a very well-known story because almost everyone in high school has to read this. And this book is very talked about because it talks about racism and privilege. It's a very interesting story. I personally read this 2 years ago, so I didn't reread it for this video, but I really enjoyed my time reading it. I'm not a really historical person, but this book was very surprisingly good. I remember being very shocked and I really wanted to cry. Like, it was very emotional. So I personally really enjoyed this book. And did the directors pay attention to this book? Did it have any meaning to the series? Yes, I think it has. As I said before, this book is read by high school students. They featured this book in that scene because of it. They really wanted to make sure that we remembered and then we knew she still was a high school student, even though she was flirting with an older man, and it would be considered pedophilia. They made her read it while flirting with him so that we could really feel that stomach turning fear for her, because she was getting involved with an older man and she's just in high school. I think she's 16, 17 on the series. So I really think they were right to put this book there. I think it had a reason to. It made sense. When you see it like that, that scene becomes so scary and creepy. You just want to save her from that situation. So I think the directors did a great job with this one. Now, do you think Spencer would enjoy this? I think she read it because of school. I don't think it's something she would pick up on her own, but I do think she would enjoy it because this book is really well structured and just classic, and she's a very classic girl. She follows the rules, so I think she would really enjoy this.
It's kind of important. Could you like not be here right now?
The next book I have to talk about I chose for a very specific reason. So I decided to pick up the Dharma Bums because it was a Spoby moment. Spoby is my favorite couple, all of the couples from the series. Spoby is basically Spencer's and Toby's relationship, and this scene was just the cutest thing ever. And even though it's not Spencer reading, I really wanted to include Toby on this video because he doesn't read a lot of books other than that. So I couldn't really do a separate video on him, but I really wanted to include that really cute moment to the story. And I actually got the same exact edition as he has, and that made me super, super happy. I did talk about this book in one of my wrap-ups. I'll link it in the cards and the description box down below. But Dharma Bums follows this man who's on a journey to find himself. So he wants to go up a mountain and he meets a ton of different friends. He's just looking for solitude and being okay with himself. And I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was a bit slow and a little hard to read sometimes, but I had a fun time reading this. I thought it was really interesting. I can definitely understand why it's a classic. Let me explain a little bit about Toby. Toby is the loner. He's the school weirdo. Nobody talks to him. There's this weird rumor in school that he did something terrible, so people just usually stay away from him. And I think it made sense to make him read it, even with Spencer by his side, because it shows that even though he loves her, he's still dealing with his own struggles, and that can be really represented in this book. So I think this was a very, very thought out book pick for the series. I was actually surprised at how well I could see Toby reading this. So overall, I also think this was an amazing choice. It just made sense. And now, do I think Toby would read this and would enjoy it? Yes. So I think he would personally really relate to the main character of the story in just wanting to escape and go into this different world and try to find peace and love in himself. So overall, I think Toby would have loved this book. And by the way, you can find the Dharma Bums in the season 1 finale.
What's the juiciest thing on his status update? Ezra Fitz has joined the Mark Twain fan page.
The last book that I read for this experiment was 9 Stories by J.D. Salinger, and you can see this book on season 3, episode 23 of the series, so we skipped forward a little bit. Let me give you a little bit of a backstory on that episode. Spencer has been through something extremely terrible, and she's not in a very healthy mental state. So she's sent to Radley Sanitarium, which is a mental institution, and it has a psychiatric ward. You know, you get the feeling. And it was really hard for me to figure out what she was reading because she's like really far away on the screen, but I was able to do it, and it was 9 Stories by J.D. Salinger. What is 9 Stories by J.D. Salinger? It's 9 stories. It's a short story collection of 9 stories, and oh my god, this was my favorite book out of all of these that I read for this video. Literally, almost all of these stories are about people who are in pain, who are going through trauma, who are suffering. I think this was, again, a great director's choice. Whoever put this book on her hand knew what this book was about and knew that it would make sense on that scene. They knew what they were doing. I could really see Spencer reading this and enjoying it. I felt like it was, again, such and interesting, just a little detail that a lot of people don't pay attention to, but they didn't miss out on that detail, because if you were to do the research like I did, you would have seen that it made sense and it wasn't just thrown there. I think Spencer would have really enjoyed this read because it would have made her feel less alone. This book shows that everyone has their struggles and that everyone goes through something they wish they didn't go through, and I think she would have really enjoyed this read and felt less depressed, alone. I'm really excited for the future of the series because if it keeps going as well as this, I'm gonna have to say the directors are onto something and that they are not playing and they're paying attention to the smallest details ever. I never thought they would go that step further and to pay attention to the books. So that was really interesting, and it made me so happy as a bookworm to be able to read these books and actually feel like I was reading them with Spencer Hastings, if that makes sense. I also love Troy and Belisario, the actress who plays Spencer. Both of these people are just, they mean a lot to me. So I'm really glad that this first experiment went well and the books actually turned out to be special and they had a meaning to them, which I'm so excited. Let me know if you want this video to be in a vlog format or if this sit down talking video is better, because I feel like I ramble less when I'm sitting down. Like I can just give information as to I read it, I liked it, would they read it? Does it make sense? Like very quick and easy to get through, and I think vlogs would be a little more rambly and not as professional. So let me know down below if you guys would rather me do a vlog. This was just the first video, so I don't really know if you guys are gonna even like this. Hopefully you will. And if you did enjoy the series, please make sure to give this a big thumbs up and subscribe down below to be part of this wonderful family. I would love to have you here. And comment down below which character you want me to do next. I beg you, please. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!